Do we understand it? Not for all of his heritage. And who is this for? It's only like someone who makes himself like shiraim, like leftovers, meaning he doesn't have any haughtiness in him. It's not for the entire nachla, only for someone who makes himself like shiraim. And Rav Huna asks the same contradiction in Pesukim. Because if it says in one pasuk, Hashem is just in all of his ways, and when Hashem is just, it seems to be that means he's very exacting, he's very straight. But then it says in the pasuk that he's very magnanimous, he's like a chassid, he's very pious in all of his deeds. Seemingly he's very giving, and that seems to be the opposite of being a tzaddik. So the Gemara answers no problem. But chilat tzaddik in the beginning he gives us exact strict justice, but then ulubasayf chassid he has to be a chassid at the end because he realizes the strict justice is not going to last. Rabbi Lazar Rami Ksiv, Rabbi Lazar asks us here in Pesukim, and this is the same outcome. It says Ulcha Hashem chesed, to Hashem is chesed. Uksiv, another pasuk says Ki atisham leish k'maseyu, you pay each person exactly according to his deeds. So is Hashem acting with the midah of chesed, or is he acting very exacting? So we answer with Chila Ki atisham k'maseyu. In the beginning he pays a person exactly as his deeds are, but ulbasayf Ulcha Hashem chesed. At the end we realize Hashem has to act with chesed, because if not the world is not going to be able to last. And in similar drasha, Ilfi, he says V'amrila, and some say that it was Ilfa. Rami, he has to steer. Ksiv, it says in the pasuk V'rav chesed, abundant in chesed. Uksiv, but then the pasuk says V'emes, and true, meaning Hashem is true and straight, and he does exactly as supposed to be done. So we answer with Chila V'emes. First Hashem uses midah of emes, but then Ulbasayf V'rav chesed, he used the midah of Rav chesed because he realizes that the world can't be maskayim if we just use the midah of emes. And we continue darshaning. It says in the pasuk V'yavra Hashem upon Vayikra, Hashem passed by him and he called out. And Amar B'Yechon and Amali Mikra Kasov, if not for a pasuk that was written Ef Shel Imrei, I wouldn't be able to say the following drasha. Malamid, what does this pasuk teach us? Shenis Atva Kosh Baruch Hu K'shlich Tzibur. Hashem wrapped himself like K'shlich Tzibur. He wrapped himself in a talis. That's the lashon of Vayavar, like a person who's being over l'fnei ateva, a person who's davening for the Amud. V'Hara Leil Moshe Seder Tefillah, and he showed Moshe Rabbeinu the order of Tefillah. And Amar he told Moshe Rabbeinu, calls Mash Yisrael Chayden, every time the Klal Yisrael sins, Yasu L'fanik Seder Hazeh, they should perform this order in front of me, V'ani Ma'icholhem, and I'm going to forgive them. And now we have a little bit of a glimpse into the Yud Gimel Midas Rachamim, Hashem Hashem. We repeat Hashem's name twice, and this is Hashem's name of Yud Ke Vav Ke, which is Hashem's Midas Rachamim. Anihu Kaidim Shech Adam, I am Hashem, which is full of mercy before a person sins, and also V'anihu La'achar Shech Adam Yasa Tshuva, I'm also Hashem, Yud Ke Vav Ke, full of mercy after a person sins and does Tshuva. Kel Racham V'chanin, what's the understanding of that? Amrav Yudi says, Bris Krusel Yud Gimel Midas, this is a covenant which was made with the Yud Gimel Midas, She'en Chazaris Rekam, that will never be turned away empty-handed. Shenemer says the pasuk, Hine Nechi Kaires Bris, behold, I'm sealing a covenant. And now we're going to have many Gemaras about Tshuva. Amrav Yechon, he says, Gedela Tshuva Shemakares Gzar Dina Shal Adam, Tshuva is so great that it could tear up an evil decree that was signed against a person. Shenemer says the pasuk, Hashmein Leva Amazeh, this people is fattening its heart, Va'aznav Hachbed, and hardening its ears, Va'aznav Hasha, and sealing its eyes, Pen Yer B'Ainav, lest it see with his eyes, Va'aznav Yushma, and hear with its ears, Vava Yavin, and understand with its heart, V'Shav V'Rafaloi, and do Tshuva and be healed. So we see Tshuva can actually heal. Amalei Rav Papa Labai, Rav Papa Asabai, what do you mean V'Dem Lefnei Gzar Din? Perhaps it's talking about all before Gzar Din, that we can make sure that the Gzar Din is not sealed. So Amalei says no, V'Rafaloi Ksiv, it says, and he will be healed. Ezu Davar Shetzarech Refuah, what needs healing? Hava Omer Zeg Gzar Din. A person only needs healing after he's sick, and therefore over here in this pasuk we're talking about Gzar Din. That means even after the Gzar Din was written and sealed, still he could do Tshuva and he's going to be able to tear up that Gzar Din. But now Meisvei we're going to ask on Rabbi Yochanan. We know that the Brisa says Hashal Ben in time, if a person does Tshuva in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur during the Hasaris to make Tshuva, Meichel and Loi, so then Hashem will forgive him. Loi Shal Ben in time, but if he didn't do Tshuva, Afilu Hevi Kol Eli Nevais Shabbat Olam, if he brings all the fat and rams in the world as karbanis, Ein Meichel and Loi, they're not going to forgive him. So we answer like Hasha, Haba Yachid Haba Tzibur, when a Yachid has a Gzar Din on him, so then Tshuva is not going to help. However, at Tzibur, we have a congregation, if they have a Gzar Din against them, and they do Tshuva, so then they're going to be able to tear up that Gzar Din. But now the Gemara says, Mesa, we have a question from a Brisa. The pasuk tells us about Eretz Yisrael. Ein Hashem Lekech Chabad, the eyes of Hashem are constantly on Eretz Yisrael throughout the entire year. Itim L'Taiva, Itim L'Ra. Sometimes that's for the good, sometimes for the bad. And the Brisa explains, what does that mean? Itim L'Taiva Ketzad. How does that mean that Hashem's eyes are for the good? Hareshal Yisrael Rishayim Gemurim. Let's say Klal Yisrael is 100% Rishayim, Rosh Hashanah on Rosh Hashanah, and therefore Pascal Hem Gisham Mu'atim. Hashem says they're Rishayim, they're only going to have a little bit of rain. Let's say Chazru Behen. But then afterwards they did Tshuva. So Hashem can't add on more rain Shekvar Nigzer Gzer because the Gzer was already sealed. So what does Hashem do? Because at the end of the day they did Tshuva. So Elakash Baruch Hu read them Bizman Al Arts Tzrich Lahem HaKol Lefiyah Arts. Hashem has that rain, that little bit of rain, come down in the proper time, precisely the time that the land needs the rain, on the land that needs the rain. And Itim L'Ra Ketzad, what does that mean? Sometimes it's for the bad. Hareshal Yisrael Tzadikim Gemurim Rosh Hashanah. Let's say Klal Yisrael were 100% Tzadikim on Rosh Hashanah. Upaskal Leim Gisham Rubim. So Hashem says they're going to have lots of rain this year. Let's say Chazru Behen, at the end they were Chayzer, they ended up doing lots of Averes. So Liv Chayz Meheni Yefshar, Hashem can't take away the rain, he said, Shekvar Nigzer Gzera, because the Gzera was already signed. Elakash Baruch Hu Me'rin Shalei Bizmanan Al Ha'aretz She'en Tzrich Lahen. Hashem has the rain come down in the wrong time, meaning at the time that we don't need the rain, on a land that doesn't does it need the rain? And here's our question, Lataiva, when it turns out for the good, meaning when they were Rishayim Gemurim and they had a psak that they're going to have only a little bit of rain, and then they turned out for the good and they ended up doing tshuva, so Mila Karli Gzardinayu, Hashem should just tear up their Gzardin, Veloisavlu, and add on more rain. As we said, a tzibur is able to have their Gzardin torn up. So we answer, no, Shani Hasam to Efshar Bahachi. That's different because it's possible Hashem doesn't have to tear up the Gzardin since he has a way out without tearing up the Gzardin, so then he does so. However, if he has no way out, so then he will tear up the Gzardin of a tzibur. The Gemara continues asking, Tashma, we have a brayso. The pasuk tells us, Yorda Yama Aniyah, those who go down to the sea in ships, Oisam Lachab Mayim Rabim, those who do their work in great waters, Hema Romas Hashem, they have seen the deeds of Hashem. Vayomer, and he spoke, Vayamid Ruach Sa'ara, and he raised up a stormy wind, Vaturemim Galav, and lifted up its waves, Yachaygu Vayanu Kashikor, they reel and stagger like a drunkard, Vaitzakol Hashem Batzar Lahem, and they cry out to Hashem in their distress, Yodel Hashem Chazay, let them thank Hashem for his kindness when he takes away all these stormy winds and these stormy waves. And also Hem Simanias, he made signs for them. If you look in between these psukim and Tehillim, there's actually upside down nuns. And what does this teach us? These are Ke'achin V'rakin Shabbatayra, just like the Ach and Raks of the Torah. Learn Melcha to tell you, Tzaku Kadim Gzardin, if they cried out to Hashem before the Gzardin Nanim, so they're going to be answered. Tzaku Lachar Gzardin Enu Nanim, if they cry out after the Gzardin, they're not going to be answered. And over here we're talking about a whole bunch of people on a ship, and people on a ship are considered like a tzibur. So we see that even if a tzibur cries out after Gzardin, it's not going to work and it's not going to tear up their Gzardin. The Gemara says, no, Haninami Kechidim Damu, these are actually not considered like a tzibur, they're considered like Yechidim. We just have a bunch of random people on a ship together, they're not considered like a tzibur, and therefore they're like individuals, and once there's a Gzardin on them, so then they're not going to be able to tear it up. But we continue asking on this. Tashma, Shallah Belayra Hagiyaris is Rabbi Gamliel, Belayra Hagiyaris asked Rabbi Gamliel the following question. Kseba Torah it says in your Torah, Asher Lo Yis upon him, that he does not show favor, meaning Hashem doesn't show favor to people. Uksiv, but then it says, Yisa Hashem Panav Elech, Hashem will show you favor. So Nitbal Rabbi Yesi HaKayin, he directed her to Rabbi Yesi HaKayin to answer this question. Amrullah, so he told her, Emshel Chamashal, I'm going to give you a mashal. Lamad Davidama, what's this comparable to? La'adam Shanaisa B'chaver Mana, a person who's owed a mana by his friend. The Kava Lo Yizman B'fnei HaMelch, and they set a time to go to the king. V'nish B'lai B'chai HaMelch, and the person that owed the mana, he swore by the life of the king that he was going to pay it back. He Giyazman V'lai Paroi, the time came and he didn't pay it back. So Balafayas Zamelch, he came to appease the king and say, I'm really so sorry, I promised in your name and I embarrassed your name by not paying back in time. So the king told him, my embarrassment, I forgive you, it's not a problem, but you have to now go appease your friend, you still owe him that mana. So over here with these psukim, Hashem will show favor, it's just an aver between you and him. Hashem will say, okay, fine, not a problem, I forgive you, and I will show you favor. But the pasuk says Hashem will not show favor. That's when a person wrongs his fellow. Hashem says, okay, the part that you did wrong, I forgive you, but I can't forgive you for doing wrong to your friend. You have to go ask for forgiveness for your friend. Now this was the understanding of the pasuk until Rabbi Kiva came and taught that what's the understanding of these two psukim. Yud Ches Amud Aleph on top, kan kodim gzardin, kan la'achar gzardin. One's before gzardin, one's la'achar gzardin. So we see that after gzardin, we're not able to tear up a gezerah, even though we're talking about a tzibur. We're understanding why are we talking about a tzibur over here? Because we're dealing with Hashem judging a judgment. So we're understanding that's talking about a tzibur. So once again, the Gemara answers hachanah b'yachid. We're talking about a yachid specifically. But if we have a tzibur coming and they're davening and they're doing tshuva, they're able to have their gzardin torn up. We're going to stop here for the day, but pick up with the topic tomorrow. For now, everyone should have a wonderful day.